With Jason Clarke of the Carleton Place Canadians, the four-time Art Bogart champions, the three-time Fred Page Cup champions, the three-time national finalists. This is year 10, Jason, I believe, or was that last year, this year for the Canadians? Year 10?
Yep, it's year 10 this year, so we've made a commemorative logo for our 10-year anniversary, and we've got some special events that are going to be coming up throughout the year, and some appearances from former players, and some presentations honoring some of our volunteers and sponsors throughout the year. So, it's a pretty special year for us to be 10 years in, and without our volunteers and our community support from our corporate sponsors, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, there's lots to be thankful for in Carleton Place.
Yeah, flagship organization, 4 championships in just 10 years. Meanwhile, I think we've got 2 in, what do you think, Phil? 55, 56. Last year, you're going for the drive for 5 to equal Keefe and the Lumber Kings. You fell a little short to, I would say, an all-star laden junior Senators team. How did that series finally, I guess it was 3 was the charm for them. How did that go down?
We just ran into a really good hot goaltender. Connor Hicks was their best player, and out of the 4 years that we won championships and went far, our best player was our goaltender every year, and Connor Hicks last year was their best goal. It was the best top player for Ottawa by far, and anytime you shoot a team 2-1 in 3 or 4 of the 5 games, and you can only score 1 goal, then you got to tip your hat off to him. So Marty Dageday and his staff did a really good job, and they were building for a whole year for that, and they wanted to win our league, and they wanted to represent well at the Fred Page Cup, and you want to know what, they had a banner year last year, and they deserve it, and I thought they showed very well at the RBC. Just goes to show you how good our league is and how good the competition is in our league, and they did a really good job. So just one of those things, unfortunate things that happen, and goaltender gets hot at the right time of the year, which we've had as well too. So I've had both hats on now, and Connor Hicks was unreal. So just got to move on, and that's another year.
Yeah, junior Senators on the national stage, went pretty well every game. All pretty much went to overtime, went to extra time. They really showed well. Your team last season, you had 2 young phenoms in Mosley and Bolton with the Tier 2 team that not only made the playoffs, but made it to the final against Castleman. And then you turn around and you have both Mosley and Bolton in the Fred Page Cup. What goes into that thinking?
Well, they deserve to be there. We had guys, obviously, when you lose a league finals, you have a couple guys that obviously aren't playing all that well and maybe not be, following the team's game plan on a certain basis. And, Mosley and Bolton deserve both to be in there. And, I'll be honest with you, in probably 2 of the 3 games that, in the Fred Page Cup, Mosley was probably our best forward. So, he's a special player. He's a good kid, and he's been in our program 2 years of U18 and 1 year at Junior B, and now he's going to play for the Junior A for 2 years, and be off to Huntsville, Alabama to get an engineering degree. So, that's kind of what we wanted to do when we started this club system, and it seems to be working out so far with 7 players from our Junior B team last year moving up to our Junior A team.
Mm. Jason, composition of this team, you've had some turnover. Obviously, your system feeding well. You just mentioned 7 players moving up from CCHL 2. Your back end, the Twin Towers gone, Gerdukas, Theo Chartis. Now I guess it's Thorne and Townsend to kind of lead the way back there.
Yeah, we expect big things from those guys. Those are our leaders, and they did a very good job last year, and they've got off to a great start. Brent Thorne's leading our league in points right now, and it's nice to see him get his offensive game going. Obviously we're going to need that with losing Theo Chartis and Gerdukas, and if you want to be competitive in this league, your returning players got to take the lead, and that's exactly what those 2 guys have done. Townsend and Thorne were our 2 best players through the whole weekend, and arguably could have been the 2 best players at the showcase all weekend. So, it's a good sign, but it's also too now it's they've raised their level of play. So now it's my job as a coach. The fun part of coaching, right, is to continue to make sure that they raise that level. And both are really good kids, and both want to get better. So it'll be an interesting year.
Despite all the winning, your organization, your flagship organization, your commitment to development, I think I count as many as 9 players with commitments starting 2018-19.
Yeah, I mean it's something that our league is I've always said this. Our league is a league for players that are slow developers. So, you mean the best players in the world at 16 and 17 are playing the OHL, and the guys that aren't good enough to play in the OHL get to play in this league and develop at a different pace. So just giving guys opportunities to be able to kind of develop at their own pace and continue to develop as people and as players, and go on the education route and getting NCAA provides those late bloomers with the ability to continue to play the game they love. So I mean, we take a lot of pride in that, and it's been a lot of fun over the last 10 years.
As always, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it. Good luck tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Jason Clarke of the Carleton Place Canadiens.